Formula 1 just ran its first race under completely new rules. Within 24 hours, 4 world champions said the same thing. Verstappen said the regulations are wrong. Norris said they are probably the worst F1 cars ever made. Hamilton said 600 meters of a qualifying lap just coasting. That's not racing. Leclerc said you don't know when your battery will cut out on a straight while you are defending. 4 world champions, 1 race, same verdict. So what actually happened in Melbourne, and why did regulations that took 4 years to build fall apart in one afternoon? That's what I'm gonna tell you in next 200 seconds.
Already down, and he has palmed getaway for Arvid.
Ferrari stayed out. They're going to get their cars into a
Lindblad, who's into 4th.
Melbourne went wrong on Saturday before the race had even started. Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion, drove out of the pit lane for qualifying. He reached the first braking zone, he touched the brakes and the rear of his car locked and threw him straight into the barrier. He had not even reached the turn 1. Here is what happened. The 2026 cars recharge their battery every time the driver brakes. The harder the braking, the more energy gets recovered. Think of it like regenerative braking on an electric road car. Lift off, slow down, battery fills up. A software error in Verstappen's car set that recovery level too high. The moment he touched the brakes, the motor grabbed the rear axle. Both wheels stopped spinning simultaneously at 300 kilometers per hour. That is what a handbrake feels like at racing speed. He got on the radio and said,
How hard was that impact?
No, he just hit the brakes and suddenly the rear axle just completely locked out of the blue. So I don't know why that happened or how that happened. I've never experienced something like that before in my career, that the rear axle just completely locked on. So yeah.
He started the race from the last place. That was qualifying. Finally, the race started. Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes' second driver, lost 4 places before he reached the first corner. His battery was empty at the start line. In 2026, half the car's power comes from the electric motor. Empty battery means half the power. Half the power at a race start means every car around you pulls away immediately. Antonelli went from 4th on the grid to 8th before he had even turned a single corner. Then the lead changed 7 times in 9 laps. Between Russell and Leclerc, 7 times, 9 laps. Not because of overtaking skill, not because of tire strategy, because neither driver knew when the other one's battery would run out on a straight track. Leclerc put it this way after the race. You don't know when your battery will cut out on a straight, so while defending there are massive speed differences. Here is how that looks like in practice. Imagine you are leading a race, you are flat out on a straight, your battery hits empty, your power drops from 1000 horsepower to 550. The petrol engine alone. The car behind you still has full battery. He has 1000 horsepower. You have 550. He's traveling 40 kilometers per hour faster than you. He drives past. You did nothing wrong. Your car was not slower. Your battery ran out at the exact moment. That happened 7 times in 9 laps. Russell won. Mercedes won 2. Leclerc 3rd. Verstappen recovered from last to 6th. Which tells you the Red Bull chassis is still strong. The power unit is the problem, not the car. To understand why Melbourne played out this way, you need to understand one fact about 2026 power unit. Since 2014, F1 cars have run a petrol engine and an electric motor together. The petrol engine did 80% of the work, the electric motor was extra, a boost on top. If the electric side ran low, the petrol engine kept you in the fight. In 2026, the split is 50-50. 550 horsepower from petrol and 470 from electric. Equal partners. If one side drops, you immediately feel it. The battery cannot run at full power for an entire lap. It fires, empties, and has to recharge before it can fire again. That cycle happens multiple times per lap. To recharge it, drivers have to lift off the throttle on straights. Not to save fuel, not for tire management, to let the battery fill up enough to have power for the next corner. Hamilton described going through 600 meters of a qualifying lap at partial throttle. 600 meters is roughly 3 football pitches. On a qualifying lap where every tenth of a second matters, he was coasting for 3 football pitches. That number is real. It is a direct result of how these regulations are written. The FIA built a car that runs 50% on electricity. They achieved exactly that. The consequence, power that cuts in and out within a single lap was always going to happen. Melbourne just made it visible. These regulations are not changing mid-season. The power units cost hundreds of millions to develop. The cars are built around them. The season has started. There's no version of 2026 where the FIA pulls the rules and starts again. What changes instead is the software. The teams that figure out the exact timing, when to fire the battery, when to recover it, which corners to prioritize on which circuits, those teams pull away. Right now, Mercedes have that figured out better than anyone. This is not luck. This is 7 years of hybrid software knowledge that nobody else has yet. The other teams will close that gaps. It will take time, months at minimum, possibly longer. In the meantime, races are going to be decided by the battery timing as much as by the driver skill. That is reality of 2026. Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton are not wrong to say it. Dominicali is not wrong to say that they need to be patient. Both things are true at the same time. Melbourne was race 1 of 24. The gap between the best software and the worst is going to be the story of this entire season. Watch the next race differently. Do not just watch who wins. Watch which cars have full pace on the straights and which ones go quiet. Watch the restarts after safety cars. Watch the gaps open and close on the same straight within the same lap. If you want to understand which teams are the closest to solving this and about rest of the car world, hit subscribe and stay curious.